7th graders, happy Wednesday. Hopefully the little video that I attached prior to this one helped you if you had any questions on the homework from the previous assignment. If you still have questions, please reach out to me so I can figure out a way to help you either through a Zoom conference or some other way, okay? We're going to move on today to the next two sections in our book. They are pretty much related to each other, so I thought we could just go ahead and do both sections at once. So the first section is 9.2, entitled Area of Circles. So we're going to learn about that formula. We're going to learn how to apply it, and then apply it to composite figures as well. So the first thing that I want you to do, by the way, this goes without saying, but you should be taking notes, just as we would in class. If you need to pause the video, feel free to pause the video. But this is the same as what we would be doing in class, so make sure you keep up with that practice. Okay, so this is your one and only note card for 9.2. The area of a circle is going to be the note card that you're going to write. This is the definition, okay? And it really just talks about, you're taking pi and you're multiplying it by the radius squared. So it's not really a definition per se. It's more of an explanation of the formula, which is right here. So if you notice, area has radius as part of the formula. There's not an alternate formula like we had for circumference that included diameter. So you have to have the radius of the circle to find the area. If you have the diameter of a circle, you would have to divide the diameter in half to get your radius. And we'll do an example like that here in a minute. Okay, so this is your first note card. Make sure that info gets on a note card and in your notes. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this example here. We want to find the area of a circle to the nearest tenth, and we're going to use 3.14 for pi. So I talked to you guys about this yesterday. If you have a calculator that has a pi button, you can use that too. But, the text is assuming that, the textbook is assuming that you're not using a calculator. And so we shorten that down to 3.14 for pi. So we're going to start off as we always do and write the formula. So area of a circle is pi r squared. So pi times radius squared. We have to remember our order of operations, okay? Keep that in mind. So just like with circumference, we use the about symbol because we don't have the exact amount. So we're taking 3.14 times 7 squared. We want to use order of operations, so we're going to do 7 squared first, which gives us 49. So with your calculator, you guys, you can take 3.14 times 49, and you get 1.53.86. And there's probably some more numbers after that. I'm not sure because I don't have a calculator with me. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so we're going to round up to 153 and 9/10. Don't forget your unit, centimeters squared. So when you're writing your units for area, it's always going to be squared. Okay? When you type your answers into Google Form tonight for your homework, you could try, there's a way to actually make this, it's called a superscript, where it's an exponent. You can try to figure that out on Google if you want. If not, just put like the 2 next to it. I'll know what you mean, although it's not the best. But it's okay, it'll do for our situation. Okay, let's take a look at an example where we don't have the radius. We have, what is this? This is the diameter. So before we can do anything, we need to figure out what our radius is. So radius is going to be half of this amount. So our radius is 9. We're going to use that information and plug it into the formula. So we have area equals pi r squared. Always write the formula. We're going to plug in chug. We're going to plug 9 in for the radius. Using order of operations, we are going to do the power first, or the exponent, and we have 3.14 times 81. When you multiply that and round it, you get 254 and 3/10 feet squared. Okay, so it's really just a matter of plugging your numbers in and, figuring where to go from there. Okay, I'm actually going to skip a few slides, so bear with me while I skip through, because sometimes it is better for us to use the ratio of 22/7 for pi. Okay, that's that's kind of how we find out what pi is, if we take 22 divided by 7. And if you look at this example, you'll see why in a minute, why it's better to use 22/7 instead of 3.14. So we have a park employee or park employees who are fitting a top over a circular drain in the park. If the radius of the drain is 14 inches, what is the area of the top that will cover the drain? So we're trying to figure out the area of basically the cover to a manhole or a drain. Now, what do we know about 14? 14 is a multiple of 7. And look at this alternate use for pi here, 22/7. So this is actually going to help us a little bit with solving the problem if we didn't have a calculator. So I just want to show you this in case you don't have a calculator. You can always use 22/7. Okay, so we're going to plug and chug. We're going to plug 14 in for our radius. And if you take 14 squared, you get 196. And I already know that that's a multiple of 7 because 14 is a multiple of 7. So I can cross cancel those out, and I end up with a diameter of 616 inches squared. Okay, they don't have that unit there. Make sure you add that. Okay, so there are times that you can use 22/7 instead of 3.14. Whichever you feel more comfortable with, especially if you have a calculator, given our situation, that's fine with me as well. Okay. Let's skip the next one because it's the same for now. Okay, so now one other little caveat to this whole thing. Sometimes you don't want to find the area of the entire circle. You want to find a portion of it. So if we look at this example, they give us a circle that has a radius, see this red line is representing radius, of 1.5 centimeters. We want to only find this blue shaded area of the circle. Looking at that, it looks like that's about half the circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the area, and we're going to try and find the area of the whole circle, and then we're going to divide it in half. Divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2. It's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to start off as I always do. I'm going to find the area by using the formula, pi r squared. I'm going to plug and chug, and I get... Sorry, I'm a little off the page here. Give me a second. I'm going to get 7.07. Now that is for the entire circle. Okay, we want to find just this blue part, which is half of the circle. So from there, we are going to divide. Hold on, let me get to, why is it not working here? We're going to divide 7 7/100 by 2. Okay, and that will give us 3.535. So our shaded region of the circle is about 3.5 centimeters squared. Okay, so if you see a shaded part, don't freak out. You just need to figure out what fraction of the circle we have, find the area of the whole circle, and then act accordingly. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to find the shaded region of the circle. So we're going to find this fuchsia part here. And it looks like it's about 3/4 of the circle. Okay, so we need to find the area, given that the radius is 2.24. That's going to give us the area of the entire circle. And then we're going to multiply that by 3/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the actual area of the circle. And when we plug and chug, we get, of course, I'm off the page again. Give me a second here. 18.09. So the area of the entire circle is 18.09 centimeters squared. We only want 3/4 of that circle. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to divide, this gets a little tricky. We are going to divide this circle of the 18.09. They have it before they rounded it. I'm not sure why they go back and forth. But we have this, which is the whole area of the circle. We're going to divide it by 4, and we get 4.52. So that means that 1/4 of the circle is 4.52. So if we want 3/4 of the circle, we're going to take the original amount, the whole circle, subtract out 1/4, and then we get 3/4. So 13.56 is the area of the shaded region. Okay. You could actually also multiply by 3/4 if you want. It just gets, I think that's a little bit cumbersome, but you do have calculators, so if you want to do that, that's fine as well. Okay. So before we go on to the next section, I want you to stop the video. Actually, I'm going to do another video for the other section, but I want you to stop, do the homework, type it into the Google form that I provide for you before you move on to the next section. You really need to have this kind of straightened away before you can move on to 9.3. So the homework is going to be page 366, 7 to 22 all. That's the first part of the homework. Like I said, I'm going to have a second part for you here shortly. Okay, thanks. Have a good one. We'll see you later.